Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, it is 7 o'clock on your Saturday morning, and welcome to the Farm Hill Cafe. I'm so proud of myself. I told you guys that I would show up, and I'm here, and I'm showing up, trying to be as unscripted as I can. I'm going to turn the music down a little bit. I like that music that they have. We use StreamYard. And I like StreamYard, really getting a lot more familiar with it. So, what are we going to talk about today? I just want to describe the Farm Hill Cafe. So, back in the day when I was younger, I used to wake up early Saturday morning, get my bowl of cereal, and watch my cartoons at least until 11 o'clock. I really miss that. And I'm up. So, I said, you know what? Let's do this adult style. Let's do this with coffee. The bear. Let's do it with coffee, and let's just talk about adult topics. And so that's why I come to you. I'm sharing my Saturday morning cartoon experience with you for either 5 or 30 minutes. So I always want to start off with the weather. So if you're in the Chicagoland, Northern Illinois, Northwest Indiana area, the weather's going to be perfect today. And it's so perfect for, we're going to a wedding today. And I think the weather's so perfect. It's going to be 75 to 78 degrees, and it's going to be sunny. So I know that wedding is just going to be beautiful. I can't wait. The next thing I want to talk about is this is Memorial Day weekend. A lot of people they get Veterans Day and Memorial Day mixed up. So for you who are watching the Farm Hill Cafe, Memorial Day is all about memorializing or celebrating our veterans who are deceased. That's really what it's for. Veterans Day are for the people who are alive, that are still here, that have served. And then you have Armed Forces Day for the people that are currently serving. So you have a Memorial Day, which is this weekend, and I think the federal holiday is the last Monday of the week. So it's still upcoming as far as a federal holiday, but it's the weekend, baby. For some of you, it's an extended weekend. So you have the Memorial Day for those military personnel who aren't with us anymore. You have Veterans Day for those military personnel who have served and are still here. And then you have Armed Forces Day for all the services currently serving. Now, you know it. So go out and tell someone else what Memorial Day is actually, celebrated for. Now, of course, I got to talk about the coffee. T2C2 Sip Nation, hello. So if you haven't gone to T2C2 Sip Nation, you've got to go to the website and order your coffee. So of course there is a commercial for it. So here it is right now. All right, so that's T2C2SipNation.com. And I should have the ticker going, but you know what, you guys, I don't. I'm getting better and better and better, but sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get there. But I also want to talk about, of course, when you watch our show, it comes on every other Sunday, which is next Sunday. It's called Contemporary Living, where Andre and I interview guests. So if you have a business, or you're doing good in the neighborhood, or you just have a compelling story, we need guests like you. I think, it's so funny how we know the name of athletes and entertainers and things like that, but we never really talk about the people who are actually doing, the work for others in the community. And that's what Contemporary Living is all about. So we like to look at that show. Like I said, it's a lifestyle program. So if you're just sitting in your living room and you're having a conversation with someone, that's what we are all about on Sunday. And Andre's back. I don't know if you watched the last episode where we had Johanna Holloway talk about going from tragedy to triumph. That was a really good show. And if you guys can watch it, go to our site, go to our Facebook page, Contemporary Living, or YouTube page at Contemporary Living, and watch the show. She was really good. What's the next? So, of course, wine. This is coffee, but I want to talk about wine. Do you like wine? You like networking? Well, have I got a deal for you? You have to come to our uncorked Vin Noir, so everyone knows. No, everyone doesn't know, because I didn't know at one time. Vin Noir, and I might be saying it wrong. I'm not French. I don't speak French. That means wine in black. So there's an event that happens every August. It's the second annual Uncorked Vin Noir wine event that's going to take place in Portage, Indiana. So if you live in the south suburbs, or if you live in Chicago, it's about a 40-minute ride. It's right off of I-80. And I'm going to show you that commercial because I bring women veterans together with civilians, and we talk about, things that matter to veterans. A lot of women don't know the female version, the female soldier, or I can't say soldier because some of us are in the Navy, some of us are in the Marines, some of us are in Space Force. But to talk about that story, and we just come together and we network, and there is wine, there's food, and there's a DJ also. But I want to show you that commercial. So let me find it. Uncorked 2022. Here it is. So you can find that, you can get your tickets on Eventbrite, and it's going to be Sunday, August 7th in Portage, Indiana, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And it's a great event, you guys. We just have a really good time, and there is lots of different flavor, different tastes of wine. So please do come out and join us. It's a women-only event. So if you're a woman, see you there. What's the next thing? I want to talk about, of course, real estate. I tell you, you guys, Andre is doing his thing in real estate. And if you're looking for a realtor who you can trust and who's going to get the job done, you've got to call Andre. So I've got his commercial right here, and I'm going to show it for you. Realtor Andre Hill. There he is, Realtor Andre Hill. Now, guess what, you guys? I always come on here and I talk about Morning Brew, but with everything going on in the world, Morning Brew's edition, the edition today, because I always like to use real-time information, the edition today was about travel. And I'm just a little surprised. And I mean, I think it's good for people who want to know about travel, and they've got a great information. They always have great information, but they didn't talk about the stock market. They didn't talk about, upcoming things. They didn't talk about the things that I tune into Morning Brew for. So what I'm going to bring to you today are some headlines. So, our prayers and our dollars go out to the Uvalde, Texas community with that school massacre. And CNN reports today that they have a timeline of the actual school massacre. So you can go there and check that out. Russia claims capture of a railway junction in eastern Ukraine. So that war is still, ongoing. Some bad news. Boy found in suitcase in Indiana woods died of electrolyte imbalance. That's serious. So there are a lot of headlines, and that was from NBC News. So there are a lot of headlines going on today, and make sure you always want to know, at least know a little bit about, what's going on in the world. So Morning Brew usually gives us that, but they didn't give us that today. I hope they go to their regularly scheduled program by next Saturday, so we can go back and just kind of attack all of those headlines. But in the meantime, last week I talked to you about the 4 lenses of budgeting. And if you don't know what they are, go back and watch that where I talk into detail, but I'm going to give you a quick snapshot as soon as I take a sip from my Bears cup. And I'm surprised Andre actually bought me this cup. Everyone knows, well, you might not know, he's a 49ers fan. How you grow up in Illinois not being a Bears fan is beyond me, but it is what it is. He knows that I'm a Bears fan, and thank you for the cup, boo. So the 4 lenses of budgeting, we talked about the financial impact. So when you look at budgeting, the financial impact is, in order to win with money, you have to have a budget. I talked about that last week. The second lens is a spiritual impact. Did you know that there's a spiritual impact to a budget? Well, because guess what? If I gave you $1 million, your spirit would literally change, because you're thinking about everything you can pay off, everything you can get. So so having a budget is a spiritual impact, because you experience more peace with a plan. The third is the relational impact, and doing a budget really forces couples and partners to actually sit down and plan and figure it out and fight, because one might be a spender, one might be a saver, and you have to balance that. You have to balance that thing out, because you don't want too much of anything. And then the last one is the emotional impact, because having your finances organized, it gives you a sense of peace. It really does. It gives you a sense of peace. So those are the 4 lenses that I talked about last week of budgeting. And what I told you was I'm going to give you 7 types of personal budgets, and I'm going to give you that, and then we're going to part ways. But don't forget about the 4 lenses of budgeting: financial impact, spiritual impact, emotional impact, and then relational impact. So that's really important when you think about your budget. So having a budget is really a matter of time, savings, investments, and growth. If you have all those things, but sometimes we don't have all of those things. Sometimes we don't have time, because the younger you are, we know with saving and investing, the more you can grow your money. If you don't even save or invest to begin with, there is no growth to your money. So having a budget is the first thing. Lynn Richardson always says, live below your means. And that's how you grow. So I want to talk about 7 types of personal budgets. I didn't even know that there were 7 types of personal budgets. This is from I think it's eatmoney.com. But the first type of personal budget is a no budget budget. Now, you know what? Do you know that there are some people that actually don't need a budget, because they know the cost of milk? They know how much it's going to cost to take their family on a trip. They really don't need a budget, because they can figure those numbers out in their head. It's not me, and it's not 99.9% of you, but there is a thing called a personal no budget budget. So that's the first one. The second one is, and I should have had a slide, but if I had a slide, then I can't, you can't really go unscripted like I want to. But I do have notes, but the slide just makes for more work. So write this down. The second is the spending first budget. Okay, so here's where you plan your spending each month, and then you save whatever's left. So I'm gonna, okay, I'm gonna spend this, I'm gonna spend that, I'm gonna spend on whatever rent, I'm gonna spend on food, and then whatever's left over. So there's no budget for it. What the budget is, whatever's left, and that's what you will save and invest in. And this is helpful for people who know that they're spending below what they're earning. It's really good for people who know that they're going to spend less than they earn. Now, the third is the savings first budget. You heard of that phrase, pay yourself first? Well, this is it. So in the saving first budget, you pay yourself the version of your savings and spending. And when you do this when they run close. So if you're saving and you're spending run close, or come to an equal amount, you want to pay yourself first. That way you know that your savings and investments are taken care of. So that's the third, the saving first budget, which is also the pay yourself first budget. So the fourth is the anti-budget. So here's where you set aside some percentage of your income and spend the rest. No tracking. It's the anti-budget. There is no tracking. And this is for those who just don't spend. They're kind of frugal or cheap, as some would call them. Yeah, I call them cheap. But yeah, if you know you're not a big spender, this is a good budget for you, the anti-budget budget. And then of course, one of the budgets that I like is the 50-30-20 budget. So this is where you spend 50% on needs, you spend 30% on wants, and then you spend 20% on your savings and investments. And then what you want to do, because you don't always want to spend 50% on needs, you want to get that as low as possible. So with every month, you just make an effort to turn the 1% of needs over to maybe 1% of your budgeting. So 50-30-20, needs, wants, and savings and investment. That's a good budget. I used to use that one. I really like that one. So we've got two more. So that was 5. I'm turning my page over. So we're on number 6, the zero-based budgeting. And this is where I am today. It's a zero-based budgeting. So you take your money and you allocate that money to different budget categories until there's nothing left. In other words, so if you look at, I use the Every Dollar app by Dave Ramsey. So if you look at, your budget, I look at my budget as soldiers, and every soldier has a mission and a purpose, and I can assign or designate each dollar to that mission or purpose until I come with a zero-based budget. Is it perfect every month? No, but you have an idea of where you're spending, and you can adjust, you can make adjustments from there if you know where every dollar is going to. Then there's the last but not least, one second. There's the spending ceiling. So here's where you put a hard cap on spending for the month. And then once it's gone, it's gone. All right, I have $500 that I'm just going to spend, however you designate it. And then once that's gone, I think you can run into, how we have more month than money. I think if you use that spending ceiling, lots of times you have more month than money. But I mean, it is a type of budget. And, I can't tell you which budget to choose, but I can say, choose the one that, makes most sense to you. Choose the one that you can stick and commit to, and that would be a good start, because you can't get your financial house in order without a budget. It's really, really hard. And technically, I always say everybody has a budget, because when the money runs out, then you know your budget, right? You know your budget. But that is it. I just wanted to come and share this Saturday morning adult cartooning experience with you. Have a cup of coffee. Don't forget to go to T2C2SipNation.com. We've got the Shiro brand dark roast and the FarmHill medium roast. Don't forget about our wine tasting that's coming up August 7th. So you can go to Eventbrite for Uncorked 2022. That's in Portage, Indiana. It's an outdoor event. If you need a realtor, go see Andre. And our show next Sunday. So I hope you make this Saturday really, really good and really, really special. Do something for someone else. Just try it. Just try it. And until then, be brilliant. Be you. Be blessed. See you next Saturday.